I appeal to the members of Antifa and also to Kamala Harris, who is the candidate for the vice president. And I'd like to emphasize that at first, Antifa should destroy all the relation with the Chinese Communist Party. That is the most wicked party of the world, in the world history. And the real fundamental communism is diametrically opposed to the ideology of the Chinese Communist Party. Don't forget that. In the beginning, Lenin himself proposed to make movement, social movement, based on their own faith, maybe communist faith, but it is based on each individual, okay? That's a communist ideology of each person. That's the reason why Leninist parties in Russia are called Коммунистическая Россия, but not Коммунистическая партия. And I have to emphasize that the most important defect of the anti-Vietnam movement in the 1960s and 70s was organizational egoism. I say organizational egoism. That is not what Lenin proposed. Don't forget that. As Trotsky tried to oppose Stalinism, and in order to defend his movement, his organization, he unconsciously adopted the organizational egoism. He introduced that idea unconsciously from Stalinist organization, Stalinist Communist Party. But that has caused a fatal defect in the movement of New Left in the 1960s and 70s. And you have to be aware that you have to absolutely get rid of that organizational egoism. And with that, you can really restore the original primitive communism. Original primitive communism is really equal to the real true liberty and democracy. Don't forget that. It seems that the Antifa are not making any intra-group or inner group, interfaction fight. That's a good tendency. However, you should be aware, scientifically you have to behave, because by overcoming that defect, you can really restore the original idea of socialism and communism, which was almost the synonym of utopia in the 19th century. There are some ideologues who are saying that today communism has revived. But they don't know there is a fundamental distinction between Stalinist communism and real true communism. Stalinist communism, that is today's ideology, today's politics of the Chinese Communist Party. I support your movement to destroy the statues of George Washington. Because George Washington, who is he? What had he been doing before he made the Independence Declaration of America? He was massacring Indians, saying that Indians are not humans, based on Christianity. Based on Christianity. Colored people are not humans. So, even though he massacred American Indians, he believed that that was not a sin that is allowed. That idea of the supremacy of human being and supremacy, white supremacy, should be fundamentally and vehemently criticized. And as a movement to destroy the statue of George Washington is in that direction, I support your movement. That's good. There are some ideologues who say that Americans have got conscious of the fact that President Trump is on the side of defending the civilian society. No, he's not right. American imperialism should be annihilated. American imperialism, yeah. There are three powers of darkness. One is American imperialism, but maybe the most aggressive today is the Chinese Communist Party. That is the third power of darkness today. In the epoch of Soviet Union was the third. And what is the second? Second is the Jewish. They have plenty of money. They themselves don't have maybe the authority or the dominating power of state. But they have money and they give money to both sides who are making battles against each other. And that there are people who believe that there is only one single power of darkness in the world. Only Jewish power of darkness is the only power of darkness. No, that's not right. There are three powers of darkness. One is American imperialism. No, the first one should be Chinese Communist Party, okay? And the second one should be the American imperialism. And the third one should be Jewish power of darkness. And we have established strategies to defeat each of them in order. First, we have to defeat the Chinese Communist Party, though it is expected that Trump will not get the victory in the presidential election in November. The reason why the support rating of President Trump right now is going up, is that the stock price is high. That is the only reason. When the stock price comes down, just before the November election, Trump will be defeated. Americans in general don't have such high-level political idea. They're always calculating. They're always calculating which is more profitable. And since stock price is now high, that's the only reason why Americans support Trump. And when Trump is defeated, the world policy against China, Communist China, will fade away quite rapidly. And I want to persuade Harris, the vice president candidate of Biden, to adopt a policy of social standard. He emphasizes basic income and he fundamentally proposes to abolish banks and financial institutes. And secondly, at first, abolish tax office revenue. Because in this calamity of coronavirus, taking in what is paid in the market by bank, by tax office, and then the money should be gathered by the government to distribute for the equality, social security or something like that. But basic income is necessary for every month. The oppressed people, not the dominating people, can't survive if they don't receive basic income every month, maybe $1,000 should be enough for one person to live, to buy necessary for eat, and also to clothe themselves. And we have to abolish all the, all the payment for the house, for housing, and also for the land. We have to abolish. And also we have to get rid of all the payment for the tax, for the with some rights. And standards policies are only on those 2 points. However, I add one more essential, very, very important point. We have to abolish stock company, and the stock market. That's the most essential point in order to overcome the capitalism. It is coronavirus calamity. The cycle is not applicable. The cycle, gathering money, raising money by tax office, and distributing that money. The cycle is a period, based on the period of 1 year. But the basic income should be distributed every month. So, you have to look for some economic system that goes beyond the capitalism. That is inevitable today. Be aware of that. And in that purpose, Standard's proposition is quite, I would say, quite interesting. However, that is insufficient. I added one more point, which is quite essential, because the cruelty of capitalism comes from the autonomy of generation of money. Autonomy. Independent of the real value, real useful value. The most important industry in the world, in the society is really agriculture. Without agriculture, we cannot eat and we cannot survive. We have to die. So, we should not get the economy independent of the real economy. The real economy signifies agriculture and fishing. So, with these 2 points, very important points, you have to modify your policy fundamentally. Then that means you have to really make war against the aggressive Communist Party of China based on that policy of real leftists. This time I stopped talking about your belief, about your belief in Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is quite I would say really believed to be a person against violence, against non-violent and non-resistant person. But that's not true. I'll tell in detail, tell about it, tell that story, that in detail next time when I make a discourse in English next time. Because all over the world there are so many Christians. All of them believe that Jesus Christ was non-violent and non-resistant. Absolutely not. There is a tomb of Jesus Christ in Japan, in Aomori Prefecture. And there is a festival named Christ Festival. Okay, I stop it.